AVAX. A couple years ago, we couldn't even say AVAX on YouTube. And today we're celebrating it. XRP and Solana will be the top coins in this bull run, but can Avalanche claim the number 3 overall position? I can tell you this, if you watch my AVAX Explainer video, you know I'm plenty bullish on this project and chain. Today, I'm going to show you just how bullish I am as I rate Avalanche among the other top coins, and in the video with my 2024-2025 bull run price prediction for AVAX. Let's get it. I'm not a financial advisor. Welcome to Armstrong Crypto X. Don't just trade crypto, experience it. Get your crypto journey started off right by hitting that subscribe button. Prove you aren't lame by hitting the like button. Today, we're going to look at how Avalanche ranks among the top cryptocurrencies for the top 2024 and 2025 bull run. The grand finale, of course, will be my AVAX price prediction. I know you all want it. The AVAX token has been on a really wild ride ever since it launched. At first glance, the chart doesn't look that much different from other smart contract platforms until you realize that most of the action took place over 1 year. In the 4 months between July and November of 2021, Avalanche went from $11 to a top of over $130. And then within 7 months, by the summer of 2022, it was back $120. Those who managed to buy the bottom and sell the top would have been able to lock in gains of over 1,000%. But it came crashing down hard as the market turned bearish. No asset was safe in the crypto winter, but Avalanche lived true to its name and came rolling downhill faster than anything else. This was partly because Avalanche was heavily associated with Three Arrows Capital, a famous hedge fund that went under along with the FTX contagion. They had big Avalanche bags they had to sell to cover liquidations, which drove the price down further than it should have gone and crushed the market sentiment. Confidence was already low for Layer 1 networks in general, with Solana pausing too much and getting dragged through the mud because of its affiliation with SBF. You can already see how much things have changed in the case of Solana, and I think we're starting to see the beginning of something similar with Avalanche. So let's dig in and see how it scores among the top coins we've done so far. And then stay tuned for my Avalanche price prediction. Team 9. Starting off with the team, I gave Avalanche a ranking of 9. You don't hear much about the team because they make moves in silence, but they actually have a ton of experience in both crypto and traditional finance. Project's founder and CEO, Eamon Gunshir, has been working in crypto for over 20 years. That's right, since even before Bitcoin was created. In 2003, Sierra was part of a virtual currency project called Karma. Like many crypto experiments back in those days, Karma never materialized into anything. But as soon as Bitcoin started taking off, Sierra began contributing to the ecosystem as a developer. He and many others were working on giving Bitcoin the same functionality that we see today. Over time, developers started to realize that entirely new networks were going to need to be developed for the industry to scale. Sierra was one of the many developers who decided to build another Layer 1 blockchain. But he was one of the few that created something that made it to the top of the charts. As I mentioned in my explainer video, Sierra and the other high-ranking members of his team are also ruthless, and they've proven they will do anything to be successful, even rat out their competitors to the SEC or hire lawyers to dig up dirt on their competitors. This isn't the kind of behavior that I personally approve of, but I don't like Sierra as a person after the corruption I've seen. But I also know that this is how the world works, TJ. And these are many times the type of people that make it to the top. But no, not TJ. That's never gonna happen. Market, 9. Avalanche got a 9 for marketing because they're obviously doing something right if they have this many people talking. But at the same time, you don't see the kind of big mainstream marketing campaigns that would really set it apart from other Layer 1s. If you think about it, you don't even really see Avalanche being advertised on crypto podcasts or news websites. So I thought that they deserve a decent score here because they've got so much hype. But I'd like to see more tangible marketing campaigns before I give Avalanche a 10 for marketing. Performance, 10. For performance, I had to give Avalanche a 10 because the run it had during the last cycle was so crazy. 1,000% gains in a matter of just a few months. It was definitely one of the fastest rises I've ever seen happen in crypto, and that's saying a lot. Now that the bull market is heating up, we can already start to see the movement picking up again. Avalanche has a ton of VC support, and I don't think they're going to let this thing fail. Community, 8. For community, Avalanche scored an 8. It would have scored higher during the last cycle because it actually had one of the most active communities in crypto for a short time. But the community is now rebuilding after a series of controversies, so I had to drop it by a point. I have no doubt that when a few good projects pop off and the price heats up a bit more, the AVAX Avengers will be avenging. One thing I'm trying to avenge is my disappointment from the lack of BitNation signing up for Stake, the sponsor of Armstrong Crypto X. Don't miss out on the world's largest social casino, where you can play games, have fun, win prizes, and more. Sign up with the QR code on the screen or with a link in the description, but Armstrong Crypto X is powered by Stake. Tokenomics, 9. For Tokenomics, AVAX came in at 9 because on paper they're pretty good. There's some weird things going on behind the scenes though, and we'll get into that when it's time to talk about decentralization. When you look at the token distribution breakdown, you see that only 10% was allocated to the team, which is not very bad for a newer project. Some get over 20%. Most of the tokens are set aside for staking rewards, which means that they will be released slowly over time to people who are invested in the ecosystem. The inflation rate, it may be slightly high, but it's not more than the market can handle, to be honest with you. I think Avalanche and Tokenomics does very well. Utility, 8. Avalanche got an 8 for utility because ecosystem leaves a lot to be desired now. But Avalanche has been home to popular DeFi and SocialFi and gaming applications in the past. So it's proven it can be home to some of the biggest projects in the industry, and they can handle a lot of users. With all of the money behind Avalanche, I find it hard to imagine that there won't be a flood of developers coming in to build out a competitive ecosystem. And remember guys, utility section, sponsored by Bitcoin. Visit joinbitcoin.com or at joinbitcoin on x.com to see how you can help crypto adoption. Speculation, 10. For speculation, AVAX gets an easy 10. Everybody thinks AVAX is going to moon. This was easily one of the most speculation-driven projects at the end of the last bull run. This was so short-lived though. I think it could have run much higher and for much longer if it wasn't for Luna and FTX taking the market. If we had a normal bull run with a blow-off top for altcoins, I think things would have been way different for AVAX. Never really got his time to shine. There's plenty more speculation to be done. Now, if you want to take part in trading that insane speculation, make sure to check out my trading site of choice, Phemex. We've got a QR code on the screen and a link in the description. Sign up for Phemex, then go get your Palau ID so you can KYC and trade safely and legally with peace of mind, like I do. Watch out for Ready Trading Series Challenge coming very soon. Chart, 10. Chart for AVAX looks amazing and is worthy of a 10. Price is up 232% in just last 90 days, pulling ahead of many other coins in the market. If this movement is any indication of how it will perform after the halving, then things are looking good for AVAX holders. Tech, 10. I gave Avalanche a 10 for their tech because they're actually doing something very unique. There's so many layer 1 projects, they're just copy and paste versions of earlier blockchains. Avalanche, on the other hand, is taking an approach to scaling that no one else has with its subnets, separating different functions out to entirely different blockchains, so there's enough throughput for transactions and application. This is the main place where Avalanche distinguishes itself from the competition. It's also the highest market cap project that utilizes directed acyclic graph or DAG technology. Decentralization, 8. Decentralization is always a hard one to score because there are so many different angles to approach it from. When looking at the full picture, I decided to give Avalanche an 8 for decentralization. When it comes to the number of validators, Avalanche is over 1,000, which isn't bad, especially considering how new the network is. But I really hope to see that number grow in the next few years. The hardware requirements for staking on Avalanche are manageable for the average tech-savvy person, but it costs 2,000 AVAX to stake, which is over $70,000 at today's prices. So that's a pretty high barrier to entry, but it's still a lot lower than Ethereum. I also think that over time, we'll see staking services that will allow stakers with smaller bags to participate. The percentage of the supply that is staked is very high, in the 60% range, which is almost as good as Cardano. Token distribution is good at face value, as I mentioned earlier in the tokenomics section, but there's been a lot of research showing that a lot of the supply is held by insiders. And that even though there's a large percentage of tokens being staked, number of wallets staking is low, which points to some level of centralization again. Final score, 91. This gives Avalanche a final score of 91, placing it on the A tier. This puts it in the same tier as ADA, just below XRP and Solana, and just above Ethereum and Bitcoin. So now, on to the moment you have all been waiting for, the price predictions. All of these predictions are working off of an approximate supply of 475,843,122. These prices are based on previous bull markets and with the expectation of fairly normal market conditions. So let's take a look at 3 different ways this could go. The bearish case, the bullish case, what I actually think is going to happen. In the most bearish case, let's see AVAX reaching $190 with a market cap of $90,410,193,180. I only see this happening if there's a major problem with the Avalanche blockchain or if it fails to attract developers and users during the cycle. If there are not some really great applications on Avalanche during this bull run, it will still do very well though, just because of the speculation. But it will only go a little bit higher than its previous all-time high before losing steam. If those numbers have you down, don't worry. For the bull case, I'm putting AVAX at $900 with a market cap of $428,258,800 $809,800. For this to happen, Avalanche would need to be the darling of the bull market, pushing out Solana and Cardano as a top competitor to Ethereum. Ethereum and Solana would both also need to stumble as well, and we would also need to see the massive expansion of the Avalanche ecosystem, with a ton of popular DeFi platforms and consumer applications. Now, for what I actually think is going to happen, the most likely scenario, I think that realistically, if this bull market goes the way I think it's going to go, we can see AVAX at around $500, with a market cap of $237,921,561,000. In this case, I think Avalanche will still be a top contender, but still lag behind Solana and Ethereum in terms of ecosystem and development. Look, AVAX is going to do well. The market's already telling us that. The only question is, will you join the AVAX Avengers? Let me know down below in the comments. Make sure to hit that like button on your way out. It helps us keep the lights on. Be blessed.